Four Prime Archetypes, Why We Do What We Do, written by Aaron Huey and Martina Kodrin. Now available on Amazon and Kindle and coming soon to audiobook.
So I had an interesting debate from a person who I had identified as a bard. And while they agreed with some of their suppressed and, as we call it in the book, eclipsed bard behaviors from childhood and from their workload-wise very much have had to be a strong leader, female of a massively successful operation. Yet, one of the parts of their favorite part of the job is the design, the decoration, the branding, the experience that the customers have when they show up. And I also know this person well and had identified them to be a bard primary, however eclipsed, and a warrior wizard, as we talk about in the book, that feminine, that female warrior wizard is a very popular, nurtured blend of archetypes. Her nature is a bard, is that artistic, expressive. And she argued with me. And at some point I'm like, I created the system, damn it. And we laughed, of course. But what she kept saying is, I'm not a bard because I hate being on stage. I hate talking in front of other people. And that is certainly the caricature of the bard. And we hear stories and see a lot of things about actors and actresses in Hollywood who really don't like the public eye. And in fact, some of their best work is done in an intimate setting with a director and a camera and the camera operator and the sound guys and the other 60 people that are there on set. But yet it's a very intimate experience. And what I had to point out to this person is that their whole life was set up as a bard, not their work. In fact, their work was part of the eclipsing process. Mm-hmm. But this person was the center of information for themselves and their friends and their family. They're literally the owner of the business. So things have to go through, and they have managers and they have, other partners and stuff like that. But she is the queen bee of the operation. And so being a bard doesn't mean that you are on stage for your career. Any of the four archetypes can be anything they choose to be. There are jester performers. There are wizard actors. There are warrior people who are filming van life videos and living on the road and making money doing it and going about it in a very warrior manner. The symbolism of when we talk in the book, the symbolism of the jobs that they could have is again a generalization of the purity of the archetype. But it did bring up her questions about introvert and extrovert. I'm an introverted bard, and is that possible? My answer was, of course it could be. Of course it's possible. And there's an introverted warrior and an extroverted wizard. It's not the stereo archetypal version, but of course they exist.
So it's not the pure version of the archetype. But of course, as we so often say in the book, we are all a mixture of the archetypes, and it just depends on which one you call upon, consciously or unconsciously. So through your nature or nurture, how you were brought up and so on.
Right. So, and what's been eclipsed through the social construct that has been created for you or that you've created for yourself. If you are a firefighter and you're in a very male-dominated industry, whether you're male or female, your activities and your behavior in that public environment changes. In the same way that whether you are a full-time actor or performer, the moment you decide to get involved in community theater and get up on stage, you're in an environment that has a cultural archetype, as we've talked about in some of the other videos, attached to it. You have to behave a certain way to survive. Now, at some point, you don't have to. If you're good enough, people want to belong to your energy. You don't have to belong to the energy of the cultural archetype. Again, going back to my point at the beginning, there are actresses and actors who are very fond of performing, but have no interest in the public eye or the public limelight. They do it because they love the craft, not because they love the people involved in the craft. I will say that's why I quit acting. After acting school and then, living in Hollywood and being a part of the culture, I quit because of what was going on backstage. But I've spent the rest of my life on stage. I've spent my whole life on stage. But the backstage of a theater, the backstage of a movie set, I don't like that energy. I don't like that subculture. But I was never good enough to be the dominant factor of the energy backstage. I was one of the players. I was not the director of how life is supposed to be in that culture. And I'm very extroverted. I'm an extroverted bard. I'm an extroverted warrior. That's pretty stereoarchetypal. Being an extroverted wizard is not stereoarchetypal, but don't tell me they don't exist. My brother is a very, very intellectually stereoarchetypal wizard, but he and his wife go out with friends and they have big gatherings, and he's very socially connected and not socially awkward and understands emotional experience. And his kids are very emotionally intelligent, and he's very much a wizard. So people need to remember that we're talking about the stereoarchetypal and we are talking about the pure form, and very few people exist in the pure form.
Well, exactly. And then at the same time, we could say that these are the different roles that each of us plays in different areas and with different people in our lives, right? But at the same time, we also address this in the book. We are moving towards the king and a queen, which then know which archetype to employ in a certain situation. So at that point, we start moving from the pure archetypes into the king and the queen, who then provide the perfect role for the perfect spot or situation, right?
Yeah, and that consciously, right? That's the goal with the king and the queen that people need to remember. Whether you're introverted, extroverted, or an extroverted wizard warrior, or an introverted bard jester, whatever your unique, beautiful you design is, the key is, are you being it consciously? The book is about consciousness. Yes, it's about identifying the purity of each individual archetype, the stereotypical behaviors and careers and attitudes and actions and attributes of that pure form. But ultimately, the design is, why do you do what you do, and how are you unique? How does your mix of the four make you special? My favorite dream is ultimately creating that website that when you do your quiz, you see that pie chart breakdown that makes you you. And we have so many sub-archetypes and cusp archetypes. For example, that warrior wizard is very much a combat engineer, right? Versus the wizard warrior, which is that sniper mentality. And I don't mean like, that aim, but ultimately you
Bullseye.
take action. Yeah, my wife is very much that wizard warrior balance of, she will aim. We had a business idea the other day for her and what she does for us. And we were discussing it, and I was so much into warrior mode. I was like, get the phone, call him, make this offer. This is brilliant, do this. And she was like, I will, but I need a few days about it. And I had to step back because she needs to wizard it before she warriors it. But she ultimately does pull the trigger, take action, make that next step. Because the pure wizard really struggles with that next step. That warrior side is like, no, I need to think about this because I don't want to overpromise and under-deliver. And if I do it this way, but then if I say it like this, however this could work, you know what, that could work well. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then she does it. And that's the sniper. That's the warrior balance of the wizard. That's your unique side. To what ratio are you that with that little bit of bard and that lot of jester? Or are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Is this nature? Is this nurtured? Is this shadowed? Is this eclipsed? Is this prime? Is it pure? That's you. That's what I love about what we've created. Is the book is about you. It's not about the general populace. It's about you individually. But you got to weed through the general populace first.
And then, of course, the most important question, how can you balance all of these archetypes within you so that you live the most fulfilled and happy and content and successful life? That's the whole point, right? So that you can be the best you that you can be. Not the best someone else, but the best you that you can be.
And then, we're going to talk about this in our next video, but once you find the one that you are weak on, to strengthen it consciously, like you and art and me and finances, like really trying to say, I could use a little bit more warrior, wizard, bard, jester. And so, we provide the list of here's some ideas that you could do to actually embrace that part of your life and practice it. Because that's all it is a practice. If you have spent your whole life being an introverted wizard, you read this book and you're like, I really want to experience, my extroverted warrior. It's a practice, especially if you have 25, 35, 45, 55 years of being a certain way, just because it helps you survive better, but you still have an aching, missing part. Then practice.
It's not about surviving, it's about thriving.
Yeah. Practice the other side. It takes time to balance. It's not just standing in the center of the teeter-totter and holding still. It's never holding still. It's practice.
Yeah. I love that list that you just mentioned. It was a lot of fun putting it together, and it's a lot of fun practicing it. Just, I want to feel more like a bard today, or, in this month, and then just go down the list. Ooh, this one sounds nice. This one sounds interesting.
I'm glad you're having fun, because for me, it's like, come on, wizard. No, stop, focus. Come on, just, and you're like, okay. I'll do more budgeting and financing and stuff. God. But I want to be creative. I want to be over here. This is the fun part. Just sit down. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm doing numbers. Ooh, squirrel. But it's practice. And it's conscious practice. It's not accidental. We are not accidentally going to become our king queen. We've got
see, for me, the challenging part as an uber wizard is getting off my butt and taking that step, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's making that call, whether it's whatever, right?
Right.
So me to sit here and do my wizardy work and then sit like 3 feet over there where my creative corner is, that's doable. But then when I have to actually go outside, that's where I have to go, okay, now consciously wake up the warrior and just go do it, because I always feel amazing when I achieve that, more of that balance in my life. So yeah, that's basically the whole point of the book and of us being here, I think.
I still crack up with the people who've been reading the book and have reached out with the questions. One of the more common things I'm getting, that I will address this in another video in detail, because this one's tough to comprehend, is they take the quiz and they say, I really think that I'm a jester. Because I make myself get outside and really just focus on letting myself, look at the trees and experience these things. And I'm like, if you're making yourself get outside and experience, you're in warrior mode. If you're
And
thinking,
if you think, exactly.
if you feel, I'm very bardy, but I feel like I'm more of a jester. If you're feeling that, because this jester is about letting go of the feelings, of the thoughts, of the actions. What
Of
does
the other
that
archetypes.
mean? Yeah. You don't gain and experience the jester. You release and experience the jester. You gain for the other three. It truly makes the jesters unique. And again, I have people arguing with that. It's like, no. I make myself go snowboarding. And once I'm out there, I'm like, that's the point. Once you're out there and you've let go of responsibility and you let go of the calendar and you've let go and you're just on the slope in that moment where it's you and the hillside and the snow and your body is in sync with this moment and you've let everything else go. Now you're jester. But I made myself and I thought and I felt and it's not your jester. None of that is your jester. But that's how we've practiced and recognized consciously how we're balancing these archetypes already. Sometimes we have to think about what time we're going to go to the gym. And sometimes we don't feel like going to the gym. And we argue literally with our feelings. But then we make ourselves get up and go to the gym. And while we're working out, we experience the gym. And our body gets in sync with itself and nature and the nature of us and the nature and the energy of the gym. And we love being there. But look at all the other archetypes that had to be dealt with before we finally just let it go in the gym and get the experience. So
exactly.
that's a big part of looking at the book to bring this whole talk around to the basics. Whether you're introvert or extrovert, whether you are a pure bard, jester, wizard, warrior, the truth is you are a very unique, special mix of it. The goal is not about being better. It's about giving up the struggle to be different from who you are. And that process of self-discovery must be a conscious one. The purpose of the book is to consciously figure out who you're being, to consciously become what you deserve to be. That's it.
Exactly. You know what else? Oh God. What else I love about adding instead of subtracting? It sounds better. It's more positive. It's like when you're trying to change the way you eat because you should eat less crap, although let's not get into the morality of food. But it's so much easier to add one more piece of fruit or one more serving of vegetables, and then automatically something else is going to fall away without you putting special focus and attention on what you are giving up or lacking or, giving away.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about this concept of being more of who you are, and then the rest of what you're not is going to slowly fall away without you even stressing about it.
And for the bard, being more of who you are, to really step into that space of creation, connection, and communication and celebrate it, to be in the wizard and finally acknowledge, I'm really damn smart. I really understand things. Now, how do I leverage it? How do I express it so that I get the job that I deserve, so that I create it's the balancing. To be the warrior and to believe in something so powerfully, to suddenly sit back and go, God, I've bulldozed my entire family because, and I can believe this. It's okay. But do I have to break connection, communication with all these other people to believe this? Do the people I love have to become the victims of my mission, vision, passion, purpose? That's that warrior stepping into the barn going, oh, people around me are pretty unhappy with me. And not just take your mission at faith or face value, but to actually experience the world's experience of your mission and vision. That's the power of this work.
Yeah.
Acknowledge who you are and then create what you want to become. All consciously, not accidentally. And the recognition that anytime bringing the Jester into that process requires a letting go, not an adding more, right? The other three, you're correct. Adding more, add more fruit, add more vegetables, add more carbs, add more protein, add more water, add more sleep, add more conscious breathing. But the Jester goes, just let everything you don't want in your life, let it go, walk away, ghost it. What's going to matter in 5 years? Truly, what will matter in 5 years? If it's going to matter in 5 years, then maybe the Jester has to pay attention, but let it go otherwise.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter in 5 years, why does it matter now? Why?
But even in letting go, it's not about focusing on what you're giving up.
Right.
It's about releasing. So the energy is still the same.
That's right.
So yeah, but like you said, it's about consciously balancing, consciously becoming what you want to become. So yeah, we could go on and on. But if you want to know more, please read the book. The link is going to be down in the description. And if you have any questions, let us know. Let us know if you agree with us, if you disagree with us. Leave a comment. And we'll see you in the next video.